You don't know what it's like to grow up poor.
Sir, what is your name?
Marshall Mathers.
And Mr. Mathers, can you read, write, and understand the English language?
It was a single parent, a whole family full of nutty people that fight constantly.
This time, the man whose lyrics earlier attacked his mother.
Life, bouncing around from school to school to school.
It's really, really sad that little kids are listening to this.
Death in your family, guns in your family.
He is a violent misogynist. He advocates raping and murdering his mother.
And the Grammy goes to
Artist of the Year. The award goes to...
The Oscar goes to Eminem.
Eminem.
Your relationship with Eminem, where did it begin? How's it going? And what does he think of me?
Em is the greatest rapper of all times.
I just adore him.
I do too.
They cannot tell me what I should say or what I shouldn't say because they don't know my life. They don't know how my life has been.
Sometimes you have to lose yourself before you can find anything.
Music is just like football or any sport. If you're good at it, you're good at it, and it don't care what color you are, what you look like, or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? If you're good, you're good. If you got it, you got it. If you don't, you don't. And you ain't gonna make it.
I'm here for the fans. I'm here for everybody who understands me and relates to me. And anybody who don't can kiss my ass. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? My name is...
Yeah.
This person was born into a very poor family on October 17th, 1972, in St. Joseph, Missouri. His mother, Debbie Mathers, was only 15 years old when he came into the world. At the age of 1.5, his father abandoned him, and he was raised solely by his mother in great poverty.
Never knew him, so...
You never met him since?
Never met him, never knew him.
Do you want to, or...?
I don't know. Some people ask me that. I don't think I do. I can't understand how... If my kids would move to the edge of the earth, I'd find them. No doubt in my mind. No money, no nothing. If I had nothing, I'd find my kids. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse.
They moved constantly, but eventually settled in Detroit, Michigan. When he was 9 years old, he was brutally beaten at school, resulting in him spending a week in a coma. All of this happened just 2 days before his 9th birthday, when a bully named D'Angelo Bailey severely injured him. A few months later, the same Bailey broke his nose with a snowball containing a large piece of glass. But that wasn't his worst incident. One day, while he was in the bathroom urinating, Bailey came in and beat him to the point of sustaining injuries to his head, face, back, legs. He was thrown to the ground and left to bleed. He was found unconscious several hours later. His mother rushed him to the hospital as quickly as possible.
Bailey cornered Marshall in a restroom and floored him with a snowball packed with a heavy object. No one reported him missing from class, and he was found unconscious and bleeding hours later.
It was a nightmare. When my son did not come out of school, the school denied it. They do that. And they denied anything about my baby laying in a pool of blood in the bathroom, and I found him laying there and running out to my van with the teachers and principals. Well, we had a skeletal crew. We didn't notice him missing. No one knew how long he'd been there. My main concern was to get him, medical treatment. And because he was, when I found my son, he was in the floor.
Due to all the injuries, he again spent a week in a coma. During his hospital stay, doctors were certain he would never recover. But he surprised everyone. He woke up, but the real suffering had just begun. Due to the severe trauma to his head, he had to relearn how to read, write, and speak properly. Additionally, he suffered from constant headaches, nightmares, and other health problems that persisted for years.
It took a year for Marshall to bounce back. I had to work with him every day, teaching him how to tie his shoes. He had become almost like an infant. With the medications I had him on, the Depakine and Dilatin, low pressure, when I give him the medication, I seen a zombie, and I did not want him zombied out. I didn't believe in it, so the medication was going to go.
When he was 14 years old, his uncle Ronnie bought an album by the Beastie Boys, which inspired him to pursue hip-hop music. Before long, he began participating in freestyle rap battles in high schools and clubs. He repeated the 9th grade 3 times and eventually dropped out of school at the age of 17. He left school, but the day he was beaten never left his consciousness. He grew up without any friends. Wherever he went, he was treated as an outsider. His only friend was his Uncle Ronnie. But, unfortunately, the life had other plans for their friendship. In 1991, his Uncle Ronnie, who had been as close as a brother, tragically took his own life with a shotgun. Overwhelmed with grief, he couldn't bring himself to attend the funeral. Despite this, his grandmother Betty sent Martian a video of the service, which he adamantly declined to watch. He was totally devastated by Ronnie's death. This moment is of immense significance in his life, as he lost his only friend and the person who introduced him to hip-hop music. Marshall, consumed by grief, finds solace more than ever in his music. At that time, rap music was dominated by black artists, and he, with his bright blue eyes and white skin, was bold enough to dive into those battles. He constantly thought about rap battles and began to get better and better. Slowly, people started to respect him, and soon he became one of the most respected underground rappers in Detroit.
I'm out to accomplish a lot of things, and I want to have a voice in hip-hop. I want to have a voice. I want to be able to speak and people listen.
Not long after, he met rapper Poof, and the two formed the group D12. In 1995, at the age of 23, Eminem became a father to a daughter named Haley Jade, with his girlfriend Kim Scott. Kim, who was a runaway, had moved in with him and his mother when she was just 13 years old. Their relationship was tumultuous, marked by periods of being together and apart. Despite the challenges, Eminem and Kim were married twice during their turbulent journey. In 1996, he released his debut album, Infinite, and a year later, he won second place in the Rap Olympics, which sparked the interest of Interscope Records boss Jimmy Levine. Jimmy released his demo to super producer Dr. Dre, who was instantly impressed.
When Dre stumbled across Eminem's record and said,
"What the fuck is this? I really need to meet this guy."
They got in touch with Marshall, who a couple of days later took the trip to meet with Jimmy and Dre. What's funny is that Dre was impressed that Eminem was white.
He returned the call, and that marked the beginning of a great friendship that continues to this day.
Heard the demo, I didn't even know he was white. You know what I'm saying? I just thought he was hot. I wanted to work with him.
It is said that an hour after they met, the rapper recorded his mega hit, My Name Is. He signed a deal with Interscope Records, and he and Dr. Dre began working on his second album, the Slim Shady EP, which later went quadruple platinum. That same year, he won 2 Grammy Awards for Best Album and Best Solo Performance. In 2000, he released his second album, the Marshall Mathers EP, which sold nearly 2 million copies in its first week and became the fastest-selling album of all time. He incorporated his childhood traumas into his songs and sang to reach the hearts of his fans. Critics praised the album for its intelligence and irony. Negative reactions also came when discussions arose about the album and the lyrics of some songs, which included public violence, explicit sexual references, and homophobia. In one of the videos, he played the role of a blonde and won an award for the best male video with the song The Real Slim Shady. His personal life began to be written about in newspapers in 1999, less than a week after the platinum debut of his Marshall Mathers EP, when he was arrested after a brawl outside a nightclub in Detroit. In August of the same year, the judges offered the rapper to be punished for charges of assault with a dangerous weapon and carrying a concealed weapon. On February 14, 2001, he pleaded guilty to carrying a concealed weapon and its use. The Michigan judge sentenced the rapper to 2 years of probation and recommended that he seek treatment. But that wasn't enough for the rapper. He poured his heart into his music, delving into his private life, troubled upbringing, strained relationship with his mother, and failed marriage. His honesty and raw emotion in his songs often stirred controversy. In fact, his mother filed a $10 million lawsuit against him for slander, illustrating the contentious nature of their relationship and the impact of his music on his personal life.
Trying to give you the life that I never had. I can see you sad, even when you smile, even when you laugh. I can see it in your eyes. Deep inside you wanna cry, cause you're scared. I ain't there. Daddy's with you in your prayers. No more crying, wipe them tears. Daddy's here, no more nightmares. We gon' hold together through it. We gon' do it. Laney Uncle's crazy, ain't he? Yeah, but he loves you, girl, and you better know it.
If you wanna sue me at this point, just take a number, because there's a lot of people in.
A couple of years later, Eminem released the heartbreaking song Cleaning Out My Closet, which Eminem recalled the situation when Debbie said that she wishes Eminem would be dead instead of his uncle Ronnie.
Remember when Ronnie died and you said you wished it was me? Well, guess what? I am dead. Dead to you as
Sometime after the funeral, Debbie called him and they began arguing about something unrelated to Ronnie. During the argument, Debbie said that she wished him had died instead of Ronnie, which she confirmed in her book, and I quote, "I couldn't believe what was happening. I hate to say this, but I am sick of you," I screamed. "I wish this was you instead of Ronnie." That comment came out of nowhere. I didn't mean it, but I was just so rattled. I phoned Marshall straight back. "Son, I am so sorry, I didn't mean it," but he hung up on me. I have apologized to Marshall so many times for saying I wished he were dead instead of Ronnie. Of course, I did not mean it. I am so sorry I said that. It is something I will regret to my dying day. Even his own wife took legal action against him, adding to the tumult in his personal life. Remarkably, the same D'Angelo Bailey who had assaulted Eminem in the school bathroom also filed a lawsuit against him. Still, none of these challenges could stop Eminem. He found motivation in every difficulty he faced. But then, something happened that he could not overcome, even to this day. In 2006, Eminem had never before felt such intense pain before, and this pain still accompanies him to this very day. The pain that became part of Marshall on April 11, 2006. Proof was shot 3 times by Mario Etheridge, once in the head and twice in the chest. Eminem recounted in his book, The Way I Am, how precious Proof was to him. Proof was my key to everything. He was the only reason as to why they stopped beating me up. I won't sugarcoat anything. He was my pass to the ghetto. He stood up for me as if we were brothers. I lived in an attic, but if it weren't for Proof, who got me into the rap game, I don't know where I would have been. You definitely would have never heard of me. he was not only able to bring out the talent in me, he also saw the diamond in the rough. He was my best friend. Because of the death of a close friend of his, Marshall's problems with drug addiction worsened. But luckily, he was able to overcome addiction and lead a sober life. He reconciled with his mom and apologized for everything that he has said about her.
But I'm sorry, Mama, for cleaning out my closet at the time. I was angry, rightfully maybe so, never meant that.
2 years later, he recorded his 4th album and again won a Grammy Award for Best Rap Album. He became the first musician to win a Grammy for Best Rap Album for 3 consecutive EPs. That same year, he starred in the movie 8 Mile, in which he played the lead role. The film is semi-biographical, with many things being based on true events. He wins an Oscar award for the soundtrack of the film Lose Yourself. The track becomes a total hit and becomes the longest-running hip-hop single on the airwaves. From there, many tours, many songs, and many awards follow. He sells over 155 million copies of his albums, and in 2011, he becomes the best-selling artist on the planet, surpassing even the Beatles. Rolling Stone magazine gives him the title of King of Hip-Hop Music. Many people know him by his stage name Eminem, but his real name is Marshall Mathers.
Eminem is the rapper, Slim Shady will kill you, and Marshall Mathers is the person.
No one likes to fail. I want to succeed in everything I do, which isn't much. It's about the things that really matter to me. If I fail at them, if I don't succeed, what's left for me? If people have to learn something from my music, it should be motivation and confidence that everything is possible, as long as you work on it and don't give up. They beat me in the bathrooms, in the corridors, they locked me in lockers just because I was the new kid. What got me out of this phase was rap. I found something in it. I wasn't good at math. I'm not good at exact sciences. But I've always been good at English, and I've always had a pretty big vocabulary. He shows that you should never be afraid of what others think of you, and you should always speak your mind plainly.
I want to be able to have all these words at my disposal in my vocabulary, no matter how low my grades might have been at sometimes. I always was good at English.
To get to where I am now, I've been through a lot. When my first daughter was born, I was working as a cleaner and barely had enough money for diapers.
Whether she's with me or not, she's with me every day. She's always been the driving force for me to stay busy, been my number one reason for fear of failure.
Eminem is a true legend. His struggle proves that wherever you are, wherever you live, whatever you do, you can always succeed. Remember one thing, life isn't always flowers and roses. You'll have days when you say to yourself, how I want to succeed, but it's just not meant for me. Success is only for the chosen ones. That is complete nonsense. There will be days when you'll want to give up, sure, but you need to realize one thing. Bad days exist so we can learn from them and become better. To find our purpose. We all have choices and opportunities. Very often, it happens that we don't see them because we're too clouded by our daily lives. Imagine what you can do if you don't give up once, finish something, and have a little faith. Because in the end, no matter how much someone talks to you, no matter how many motivational videos you watch like ours or like hundreds of thousands on the internet, if you yourself don't motivate and believe in yourself, no one else will do it for you. Every good always contains a little bad. Every bad always contains some good. Even a stopped clock is right twice a day. The story of Marshall Mathers deserves to reach more people because it's very real and very honest. Share this video with at least one of your friends to make them think and see things from another perspective. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the videos we upload. Be safe, love each other, and until next time, we are the untold story of